Hello, and welcome to the Mocha Minutes podcast. I'm Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find the Mocha Minutes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, TuneIn, Castbox, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Find us on any of those platforms or wherever else you catch your podcast. Also, still soliciting for ratings and reviews. If you would be so inclined, please leave us some 5 stars. Leave us some reviews. Would greatly appreciate it. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mocha Minutes on all 3 of those platforms. If you want to shoot me an email, give me some feedback. Other than on those 3 places, you can email me at mochaminutes@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to the Mocha Minutes podcast. I am Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. We are recording on Inauguration Day. This was not planned. I literally reached out to one of my favorite Bravo podcasts. Now, when you get shows on Bravo, some people are really good at talking about it. One of the shows that I was very excited about, and I know the reason why, but I don't know the reason why. And one of them is Family Karma. And for everybody who knows, Bali is my best friend. She has proclaimed this on the internet. I will find it and I will frame it because she's my friend. And then a very pretty guy. Yeah, I can't talk about him because you know what? He's very pretty. And I'm like, he's probably a hoe. But then I can't.
Is it Brian?
It is definitely Brian.
Oh,
I love Brian so much. I'm he is so fine. And I'm like, how old are you? 12?
We just interviewed him.
You did, and I'm like,
interviewed him.
What?
Was it yesterday or the day? It was
a couple of days ago. He was so nice. He was so nice.
Was his mom there? Because I'm in love with her.
No,
I mean, I'm in love with Lopa Auntie too, because I'm like, I feel like she will beat somebody's ass. I'm like, don't try her. She'll be like, don't do me. I'm not the one nor the two. Please do not think I won't get in your ass. I'm like,
I've been DMing her, trying to get her on the podcast.
Oh my God, you should.
I don't know if she's seen my DMs. She's never responded.
Okay.
She's like, I don't know what this internet is, but the voices you're hearing are of Indra and Deana of the Family Karma Kast. I'm so excited because I've been a fan since day one. I'm like, oh, thank you. Someone's talking about this. There's something about when you see, especially a very richly cultured show, and it's being discussed by people from that culture. That's how I feel about Marsha's Plate when they talk about Pose. I'm like, it's all good. I can talk about this, but I think Marsha's Plate definitely, I'm like, that's the best Pose recap, and definitely you both are the best Family Karma recap. And I like that you guys are branching out to everything Bravo, because I'm like, nobody's talking about Family Karma, and I fucking love this show. I'm like, why are you guys not watching this?
I know.
And they needed a reunion. I'm like, nope.
Yes, they did.
Monica dig in her ass. I'm like, y'all, I need y'all to fight, because there's some stuff y'all need to discuss.
If they don't have a reunion for season 2, I'm gonna send some strongly worded letters to Andy Cohen.
Can we have a Zoom? We'll do it over Zoom, okay? Let Indra and Deana talk to the cast. It's
unofficial. We could do an unofficial one.
We could
do an unofficial one where it's Bravo, if you're not gonna do it, we'll do it.
Because you're not gonna ask the questions that I'm like, Andy's been doing this for a while, and I'm at this point where I'm like, so Andy, you can't do this. You can't do Family Karma. You can't do Shots of Sunset because I'd have dug in Rez's ass. I'm like, you know what? You're not asking the questions. You just letting them yell at the screen. Nope.
I do wonder if he gets uncomfortable with shows and topics that he's not really.
Yeah.
I mean, just to say
he'll try to dip his toe in because I'm like, that whole colorism.
He does do Real Housewife of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I think when it came to the colorism discussion, I'm like, yeah, so Andy, you're not the person to have this discussion because you can't. Because one, you can't. It's like you can facilitate it to a certain way, but not really. Because one, you're not listening to what Wendy is saying. And I will tell a lot of people this. Monique backed up and was like bucking against it. I'm like, so Monique, you would have understood this if you had hit Ashley. It's like if you had hit Ashley, who is lighter than you, the conversation would have been a lot different.
Yeah, that's
you would have understood. And it's like you would have understood where the colorism discussion comes from, because you would be definitely called ferocious and violent and aggressive if you had hit someone lighter. It's like, again, Andy, you don't have the range.
What do you think about that fight? I want to hear what you think about that fight. Who are you on a side? No,
I went in. So this is how I went into the season. I'm team neither, because I didn't leave the reunion really liking Monique, because I'm like, so I think you're lying about this whole Kendall thing because you're full of shit. Sharice owned up to hers, like, yeah, I did it, and like, I did it. And then season 4,
is Kendall the trainer?
Kendall was the ex of Sherman, so they had an issue. I think it was season 3. In season 4, she was acting like she didn't do anything, and also Monique was acting like she wasn't playing both sides when it came to Candace and Ashley, and she wasn't acting like the reason why Candace has space and time and air for Ashley was on Monique and Karen's behalf. She was arguing for them. So I'm like, I didn't like that, and I was like, Candace, girl, let the mouse go. It's like, it's not going to work. I know that Ashley told you, hey, I'm going to stop drinking because I want to get pregnant. You're still drinking. It's like, you told me you were going to stop. So it's not like Candace made all of this up. So I was sitting here like, I really don't like either one of them. And then the news was Candace threw a drink on Monique, and that's how the fight started. And I was like, oh, well, I watch enough Love and Hip Hop to know. Those are fighting words. You throw a drink. I mean, that's the thing. Because when Tamara threw that drink on Gina, I said, Gina, you should have beat her ass from then. She just threw a drink in your face. I'm like, girl, I'll beat your ass. Have you looked? And the guy's like, throw the glass. Like, why are you throwing the glass at the ground? Tamara's not on the ground. Throw it at her. I'm sorry. That's rude, but true. Because Tamara, literally, she's a little too yappy. And I'm like, Gina, you got at least 3 to 6 inches on her. Why you ain't beat her up? It's like, did you just throw a drink in my face? Have you lost your mind? Anyway, so then when you watch the season, I'm like, so this doesn't seem like she started the fight. And then I watched it and I was like,
yeah,
wait a minute. She didn't start this fight. I would have appreciated Monique more if she had just been honest. She was full of shit. It went from, she put her hands in my face. Your hands were in her face. Then she was mouthing off to me. She was spinning around and making fun of you. You were mad that everybody was laughing because that shit was funny. It was like, I'm sorry, we're not being serious right now. I was like, so it's like it became her hands swept under my chin. She talked too much. She provoked me, even though you touched her first. And then it turned into, it's my daddy's fault. I'm like, girl, when is it Monique's fault? You could just say you lost your shit. And it's like, I felt so bad because I'm like, I know what it is when you're like just angry in general. And it's like, you can't condone it. I'm like, I get it. It's like, you could have just been like, I lost my cool. I would respect you more. And
if she had just apologized.
And that was it. You had a whole more than a year. That case was settled in December 2019.
Yeah, wow.
Why didn't you say anything to her? You could at least say, it's over. Let's at least just be cordial. We're not going to walk into this season being nasty. Let's just go. And then it turned into, they had the plot and this, that. And I was like, Monique, you brought this up first. I'm like, and the more that I watched, because I went back and watched, everybody brought up the butter knife. I went back and watched that scene. I was like, so I don't think this is what y'all think it is. They're like, she brandished the knife. This is not Oz. This is not Orange is the New Black. It was a butter knife on the table. And it was like, why y'all, like, I watched enough Oz. I know what brandishing a knife really does. And also, that was Candace's house. If I tell you get the fuck out of my house, you better leave. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she flung that out. I'm like, and she came back in. I'm like, Ashley was not scared of her. And it's like, you called Wendy ferocious. Robin got in your face and had her finger in your face, and you didn't call her ferocious. You said a little aggressive to your mama, but you didn't call her ferocious.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, Monique, you just knew who to hit. Candace didn't want to fight you, because if she did, she'd have walked around that table. It's a whole table. Monique, what are you talking about?
So what are your predictions for the next season? Monique is gone. Bye-bye.
She got a new song coming out. Girl, nobody don't want to watch that bird.
No one cares.
In your house. Your beautiful house with your beautiful children and your beautiful aquarium. We get it. Girl, you wanted to walk. I wanted to be vindicated. How were you vindicated and you put your hands on somebody? What company in any part of the world can literally say
also like
physical? It was like, girl, just say you're sorry.
It negated any apology.
It was just like, ma'am, you can't do this. I'm like, so people were making fun of Andy, said we don't condone violence. I'm like, you know who also says they don't condone violence? The creator of Love and Hip Hop, Mona Scott Young. She has never came out and said, oh, I condone violence. Of course she doesn't. No company can say they condone violence. Nobody can say that. They all have to say it. And everybody was saying that Andy was biased. I'm like, so to a certain extent, I hear you. But when Kim Zolciak said she thought he was being biased, everybody's like, no, the fuck he not. You need to be held accountable. Monique needs to be held accountable. And she should have walked in there and said, look, we are not even going to do this. I should have never put my hands on you. I apologize for doing that. You can't go from, she had nothing to do. She did not deserve what happened to her. You can't tell several different people she didn't deserve it and then come to reunion and say, well, she deserved it. I'm like, oh, baby, is it what you always want? I'm like, which one is it? It's like, see, this is why I'm like, Andy, you can't have this colorism conversation. And you can't put your hands on people and then act like you're not supposed to be accountable. I'm like, you don't get to put your hands on me. And I'm glad she didn't accept her apology. Because one, don't weaponize an apology because she's your fave. I'm like, one, she's dead ass wrong and she should have been apologized to her. I'm like, why do you need to be in the same room? Karen could have facilitated this in her living room.
I also feel like Candace, like, if I were her, like, Candace has her faults, but if I were her, I would be traumatized. Like the way that he held her down on that table, and like that was terrifying.
It was like a lot, and for all of us, because we watched other fights on Bravo. Yeah, other fights like the melee at a christening for a child, and any fight between the Joes. There were jump cuts. This was a constant thread of what just happened, and you're like, wait, why are we not getting different angles? Why are we getting no jump cuts? It's like straight through, no music, nothing. And I'm like, okay, so this is a lot. And I felt so bad for Candace because for over a year, she was told that she deserved whatever she got and that she caused this fight. And then you see it, it's like, so that's technically not what happened. It's like, she's not the cause. And there's still people like, oh, like, well, you shouldn't open your mouth. You need to stop mouthing off to her before she put her hands on you again. Nobody says that to Kenya. Nobody said that to Margaret. So why should she be afraid of Monique? For what? Right. It was like, no, y'all don't ever tell. I'm like, even though Margaret and Danielle is always funny when I think about it. Your husband's in the pool. It's like, I know, why did you put your husband in the pool? Why? So it's like their fight was a little bit different because it was like tit for tat, but she literally could have twisted Margaret's neck, and Margaret had time and space for her at that reunion. No one told her stop before Danielle puts her hands on her again. Nobody tells, and it was like, what is going on? I'm like, no, that whole thing. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't give a damn. Like, you're not going to tell any woman, black, white, or indifferent, that they better shut up if somebody puts their hands on them again. I'm like, that is not cool. It's like, it's never going to be cool with me. And also, fuck that. It's like, one, it's like, you hit me. And so I've listened to a couple of lawyers talk about, because I found it on YouTube and somebody talked about it, like from a legal standpoint, like, why would it get thrown out? And it proved my theory. I was like, the theory is because no court is like going to slow it down the way that Bravo fans are. They're like, we're not doing this. And also, this is reality TV. And also some, depending on the state, because for Maryland, it's like the threat of violence is considered assault. So it's like,
really?
So it's like, I looked at it and like, it's still a misdemeanor, because I was like, at the most, it's a misdemeanor, but it has heavy jail time. And I'm like, why is Marilyn like this? I'm like, for what? So it's like a lot of stuff is included. However, to all of us, Monique touched her first by touching her hair. Depending on what judge looked at it, they may not consider that first contact. So if you just look at it from when they started touching each other, it looks like it simultaneously, they just started fighting. Because if they're not using like the hair tugs and her trying to flip her collar, they may not, that's not part of the contact. So depending on who looked at it. So I get it. I'm like, yeah, I can understand. But essentially, I would, to your point, Indra, I would be sitting here like, yeah, I'd be traumatized. So not only is there nothing legally that happened to her, people literally were still on her side saying she deserved it. I'm like, yeah, so fuck y'all.
No one deserves that.
Yeah, it was like, no. And it's like, you can still like Monique. I don't know why she left. I mean, I guessed why she left. She's like, oh no, that season, that part 3. And I was like, I was done. Oh, baby.
It was hard to see the women not on her side, especially Karen with her, you know, when she had her wig launch, I guess it was, and she was doing the timing of having Monique come in.
Yeah.
And it was like, no one was recognizing the trauma that had occurred.
And also it's like, wow, I kept forgetting how much Karen just flat out lies to people. Like, no, I really didn't say that. Karen, yes, you did.
Shocking.
It was like, Karen, that's not the first time she's done that. I'm like, Karen, it's like, you didn't have to lie. If you think so little of Giselle, as you like to say, and Robin and Wendy, I wish I was someone who I think is quote unquote lower than me. Why would I lie to them? It's like, girl, it's like you trying to play both sides. And I feel like before that wig shift event, she was trying to be in the middle because she gave Candace good advice and she facilitated Monique to have the conversation. I really wish she had said to Candace, when Candace was like, I feel some sort of way about you hosting Monique. I wish she would have said to her, I'm like, let me just say this. If you had asked me, I'd be doing the same thing. I don't want you to think that I'm taking Monique's side in this because I'm not. But that's not what Karen said to her. I knew what she was trying to say, but I wish she had said it a little bit different. Like, I would do this for you too. I would not, like, if you wanted to have a conversation, but I guess for Candace, like, what's there to talk about? What just happened? Candace didn't want to fight. Monique wanted to fight. I mean, I'm like, I honestly thought she was going to come back. And I was like, the only way Monique is not going to come back because everybody liked her is if she decided not to come back. I'm like, they're not going to fire her. She's going to decide. And she decided.
But they're saying that she was fired, actually.
I think she was fired.
Yeah, because now it's like first it's like, oh, they nobody got fired. I got my contract. Then she's like, yep, I'm out. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Get my shit, packing up my desk. Give me my stapler. I'm gone. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited that they're going to get someone new. So that's
good. I need some new people. Apparently they're bringing a friend of Karen, allegedly is testing, and then a friend of Robin. Because apparently there's somebody that was at Robin's. Now we found out the engagement party. It was just a holiday party. But I think one of Robin's friends was there, and they're saying that might be someone they're testing, and then a friend of Karen's who they're also testing.
Okay.
So let's see.
They're filming right now. Are they?
Yeah, I think they started officially. Yeah. So
I think
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Karen really emerged as like kind of a villain in the reunion.
It was just like, Karen, what are you doing? Because that whole binder thing and money, I had more shit in my binder. I'm like, so I don't know. See, you can't bring a binder like that. You can't go Jacaris on your staff and your cast and think they're going to film with you. It's like, wait a minute, you got a tab for everybody? And imagine the pot stirrer of the whole damn cast going, yeah, I don't think you should do that. I don't think. I'm like, yeah, because they actually know the shit about her in there. It's like, if I'm your friend, I'm like, why would you keep tabs on me?
Okay, can we talk about Ashley and Michael?
Oh my God.
I talk about Michael at length, and I love when a third party comes in. Because
oh my God.
I think we're all thinking the same thing. Why is Ashley with him? Why do we think this is?
I think
because he pays for everything. He pays for everything, and she buys his bullshit. She buys his bullshit.
But is she really convinced?
She actually opened her mouth to say, if Michael Darby says you're good looking, you're good looking. I'm like, first of all, I'd rather mop the ocean than get a damn compliment from Michael Darby. It's like, I don't give a goddamn shit. It's like, I don't care. It's like, so, like, who is this? Who are you, sir? It's like, ma'am, girl, we don't care about Michael Darby. And also, if he had been grabbing women's asses, he would be gone.
Who's worse, Drew's husband or Michael Darby?
Oh, wow. Drew from Atlanta.
Oh, it's definitely Michael Darby. He just went to the stripper capital of the world.
I agree, actually, because Drew's husband,
the worst. He's the worst house husband.
Michael Darby has everything that's wrong with Drew's husband. Mm-hmm. What's his name? I can't remember.
Ralph.
Ralph, yeah.
I only remember because I like New Edition. This is literally like Ralph, like
everything that's wrong with Ralph is like Michael Darby has everything that's wrong with Ralph, and he's like even worse.
See, worse. I'm trying. I think so here's a good comparison. Who's worse, Michael Darby or Jim Marchese?
Who's Jim? I have what?
And remember, so she was on Real Housewives of New Jersey season 6 with the twins. So Jim,
that was before my time.
Oh, you didn't watch the Marcheses?
My first season of Jersey was The Retreat, and Joe Gorga was being like, "I'm begging you as your brother," and he gets down on his knees.
Yes, them is Mr. Gorga. I'm begging you on your knees.
Yeah,
please
and then
stop.
It's like,
girl.
Exactly. That was my first season.
See, and that's the thing. It's like Potomac is a ensemble. Jersey is not. Jersey don't work without Teresa. And I'm like, how did we get here?
Okay,
how did we get here? They paused. They had delayed production because she was still in jail.
Which is, I mean, no housewife has done.
They don't do that for nobody else. I was like, damn, Jersey really is. She is the face of that franchise.
Teresa's redeeming quality. Yes, she's a Trump voter, whatever.
Yeah.
She loves her children.
Oh, her daughters
girls so much. She loves her. She doesn't love Melissa Gorga.
No.
And no one can convince me.
Oh, she doesn't. I think they've gotten to a good place,
They're a good place.
Man, it's like that melee was just like, how did we get here? Because I still remember that reunion before she got there, because Danielle found her on Facebook of all places. And then Melissa was just venting to Danielle, not realizing that Danielle was going to hold on to all of this. So at the reunion,
all of us know Danielle holds on to stuff.
And she's like, oh, did you go to the birth of your nephew? And then Melissa and Kathy got on the season after. That's why Teresa literally manhandled Andy Cohen and got in her face. I was like,
I've seen those clips.
I was like, oh. So it was like, Melissa, it's like they had to get to a good place. You lied and she's saying she's a stripper. You're not telling anybody. I can't wait for this season. I can't wait.
Like obviously the trailer was released for New Jersey, right? And it's like, I'm sick of the Gorgas fake storylines.
I want them to have now that they're not fighting, it's like, damn, what is y'all storyline?
Their storyline is that Melissa's cheating on Joe, which doesn't make sense.
That doesn't track to me. It's like
we want a baby. It's
a boring storyline. I'm like, I miss when y'all used to fight. Now that y'all don't have no fight, it's like Melissa don't have a storyline. And I genuinely like Melissa. I'm like, I think she's adorable. I think her kids are cute.
Her kids are.
Joe Gorga is. I don't even know what to say.
Plastic surgery works. You know what I mean? Like some of these women get plastic. I'm like obsessed with the women's plastic surgery. I am.
Deanna's like finger is on the plastic.
I always
like, and your surgeon needs a fruit basket.
Yes, I mean her. She brought in that picture of J-Lo and was like, "This."
I wish we didn't have J-Lo at that inauguration. Like, girl, no.
Wait, what did you think? What did you think?
Her.
So no, I muted it. I was like, I don't need to hear J-Lo sing because y'all don't do this.
Can I just say that I know, as someone who is a singer myself and has like studied this, she was lip syncing.
Oh, absolutely.
She was lip syncing. Gaga brought it out. It wasn't perfect because it was not. Live, but it was so powerful. It was so powerful.
And then we're going to talk about Fluffy Garth. Excuse me. I called Garth Brooks, Garth Brooks, the country Luther Vandross, because I love Fluffy. I'm like, I love Fluffy Garth Brooks. I don't know what it is, but I just love him.
Who could they have had instead of J-Lo?
I thought you were going to say instead of Garth Brooks. I was like,
no,
Garth Brooks instead. Because I was like, why was he all in Kamala's face? I'm like, sir, Trisha is there. What are you doing, sir? Don't risk it all for Kamala. Don't look like he'll kick your ass. He's like,
I'm going to stand up for J-Lo. Listen, we know that she can stay to the Super Bowl,
right? Deanna. She was amazing at the Super Bowl. I will say that.
J-Lo is a full performer. She's a pop star. She's not a singer.
That's why she got a Vegas residency. I'm like, girl, I feel like that is great. But at the inauguration, it's like, no.
Love to see her in Vegas.
Like she's a dancer. She's not a singer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bring us Mariah Carey.
She is. But you mean Mariah would need a band and a fan. She's not coming out there.
Needs a fan.
Okay. I'm surprised we got Aretha out. I'm surprised we got Aretha out because she don't do cold. So when she was performing, I was like, it is cold out here.
Yeah.
The Queen of Soul. No. And she had a pocketbook with her. This is why I stan Aretha.
You know what? So I read a biography on Aretha Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that she like didn't trust people with her money. She would take her purse on stage with her.
She kept it with her. And you would give it, you would put the money in her purse.
On stage and
that is a boss bitch move.
Oh, she's
so much stuff has come out. You're like, you got that purse on stage? It's like,
And you know she was doing that because she had some shady shit happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because people 100%. Stole from her. She's like, if it's always with me, nobody can steal from me.
Playing her in a new movie right now?
Yeah, so they're doing I think they moved it back. I don't know when the new date is. So which, honestly, good casting. She's doing it. And I think there's also a Cynthia Erivo, one as well.
2 different movies or
same 2 different movies. So I don't know if it's a series, but I know Cynthia Erivo is also playing Aretha, but I'm waiting for Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, I know.
It's like, come on, sis.
They could have had Jennifer Hudson instead of J-Lo.
I feel like y'all could have called Chrisette, get her in a Basquiat skirt. She's like, I will make up for this, you guys. I will bring it out.
They could have had Ashanti or Christina Milano who sang.
Christina Milano.
Is that her name?
It's Million. Like that girl.
Okay. Yes,
hold on. They sung all.
No excuses because I'm a TRL kid. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh my God.
And we all know that those girls sang J-Lo's original numbers.
Christina wrote some of those songs. They left them for J-Lo. They left the damn scratches in the song. It's like, that's not her voice. That is Christina Milian. What we doing?
I love J-Lo. I love her.
I do too.
I just feel like she could have, like, she should be.
I definitely voted for her on TRL. I definitely voted for you, girl.
Hell yeah.
If you had my love, I was like, that was my little,
if you had my love.
That was
Deanna. I'm glad you brought up TRL because I am like beside myself because of Brian Luttrell. I was like, Brian Luttrell did what now?
What did he do?
Homeboy he was on Parler. He's still on there, was advertising that he's on Parler. Kevin Richardson said,
I read this.
Yes. So remember he said, I lost my friend to QAnon stuff.
Right.
And so people were like, oh my God, that's his bandmate. I'm like, guys, Kevin Richardson is his cousin.
Wait, Kevin's his cousin?
Yes.
Kevin is Brian's cousin?
I
didn't know
They don't look anything.
No, they don't. Kevin's the fireman. It was like, I was like, I am safe. Kevin, it was me. I was Kevin and Howie D.
Because Kevin left at one point, right?
He did. He left and then he came back.
And then he came back.
But
he's always been fine.
My guy, Brian.
No, Brian's like a total he's a total Republican.
I said, this is just, I'm like, I am beside myself.
Whoa, time out. Why is Brian your guy?
Yeah, I know. I need to ask. We're not judging you, Indra. No judgment, but I mean, Kevin Richardson is right there.
My little 11-year-old self thought Brian was like the hottest guy.
I thought you were going to say Nick Carter, and I'm like, girl, please don't that guy.
Brian,
remember that reality show? And it was like, there's a lot of people on drugs in this house.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so Nick has his twin. It's Nick and his twin. And then there's Aaron.
He is the oldest. Carter, I'm like, how old is he?
Brother.
He looks 75.
He's like 40.
Wait a minute. 41. How old is Aaron? Isn't he like 30 something?
Aaron's like probably, so he's like Hillary Duff's age. So maybe 32.
30.
That is a hard 32. Because I'm like,
he got into some.
It's like bad for him.
Yeah. I remember when they had their little beef on Twitter. I'm like, hey, y'all, they are brothers for real.
I know.
He's like, so yeah, remember when you? I'm like, y'all, what is going on? What in the, excuse me, TRL Hive, unite. What is going on?
It's tough when siblings battle it out.
Right. It was like, you're doing this on Twitter. And it's like, so first of all, fuck you. I'm like, wait, we're on Twitter. What are we doing? It's like, is he back on the booger sugar? What is going on? Why is he lighting into Nick Carter? It's like, what's going on?
All this, I would definitely pay money to see Backstreet Boys in concert.
Right? I'm like, I kind of still.
We all go?
I know. I'm like, when they announced that Vegas residency, I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, I want to go.
Was that going on when COVID hit?
So I think they announced it right before COVID went. So I think it took everything down for Vegas. I know they're slowly opening back up, but still, it's like, I kind of wanted to see them because I like the Backstreet Boys. And
well, Brian is from Florida. Sorry, I'm like putting together all the pieces that can like make him kind of a part of Parlor. They're from all Florida, and Florida.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
and that's the bad part. You're like, oh, this tracks, but damn. Oh, this tracks, but damn.
I know. Florida's tough. It's tough to digest.
It's tough because
literally, out to my friends in Florida.
It's like Florida. It's like, Florida.
Tough. As my cousin says, it's lawless down there.
It's kind of like, you're like, oh my God, this crazy story. And it starts Florida, man. Oh, well, I know. Yeah, it makes sense. I got my buddy Jay. We did a whole show we went to a website and said Florida woman and man. It was just Florida woman and Florida man stories. And we're like, how is this? God damn, there's a lot of shit happens in Florida. Like, do y'all have any laws? Do y'all have any rules? It's like, all I have is stand your ground and everything else is like wild, wild west. I'm like, what is going on?
What though? Speaking of TRL stars, I love a comeback. So it's like, Florida, prove us wrong. Like, I'm talking Brittany.
Yes.
I'm talking.
Yes.
I want her emancipated. I'm like, what do we need to do?
Huh?
I need Brittany emancipated because Lord, I don't want her dad making her cheese grits. Like, I don't want her dad making her cheese grits with Kraft singles. I'm like, what the entire hell? I'm like, that is so hood and ghetto. And I'm like, girl, you're not even giving her shredded cheddar cheese. Like, you can do mild cheddar, Dad. He's like, gotta get all the Kraft singles in here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, who knew the call was coming literally inside
the house? And then her sister
house.
Like, she got on the internet. Shout out to Donnie from Know That Pod. It's so funny.
Know That Pod, Donnie.
Oh my God. He posted a story that her little sister said, I'm mad at the Tesla. Yes, Jamie Lynn said, the car's so quiet and we keep killing our cats. I mean, it's so quiet and they don't hear it. And I'm like, so we're skipping the part where you're actually killing cats. So we're skipping that part. It's like, first of all, Tesla, it's your fault that your cats are just running around cars.
I actually have something to throw out that's serious. Okay, so like, where's the mom in this?
Where is her mom?
Remember when Brittany, it was that famous when she was with the paparazzi photographer and she handed her mom those documents saying like, it was her.
That's a good question.
Yeah, where is her mom? It's like you only like. Where's her mom?
Are they together?
I don't
know.
I don't think they are.
Together.
I mean, they must not be. Otherwise, she would be in the
Jamie Lynn
picture.
talk about her? I was like, I feel
Jamie Lynn Jamie Lynn's in charge of the money right now.
I thought it was still the dad.
It's the dad.
She kept going. Yeah, the dad she keeps going to court to try to get emancipated from him, and he still is a conservator. So he still has a conservatorship after years and years. Because I think Brittany was also in Vegas too.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, there was that infamous video. Do you remember when they announced it and she was going to pop up?
Yeah.
and do interviews, and the guy was waiting, and she just goes by. Indra, have you seen this?
No.
So when they were announcing, they made this huge, like,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was on YouTube. It was like, waiting for Brittany. Like, she's going to like come and talk about her residency. And so everyone's waiting. She like kind of pops up from the ground outside, waves at everyone, walks. And then they're like, and the guy who like is like supposed to host a Q&A with her is like, hey, Brittany. And she kind of goes, hi, and waves and like keeps walking, and then she's gone.
This is her videos, her IG story, her Snapchats, whatever the fuck she do. They're so chaotic, and I just stare like, what is going on there? She's like, hey guys, it's me, Brittany. And I'm like, why are your eyes so big? What is going on?
She worked enough. She's given us enough.
She has. She is a national treasure.
Perform. She's a national treasure.
But she's so
she has
like
no protection.
I don't
know.
It's
and
like
she
every time I look at her,
Like, she's too young.
She's too young. It was like she and I are the same age. She'll be 40 this year because I'll be 40 this year. And I'm just like
December 2nd.
Oh, yep.
You know.
It's like I'm like, that's the bad part. I'm like, I know all the pop stars that was born in 81.
I know.
Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears.
Is Christina 81?
I think Christina is 81.
She's 81.
I think.
What an era.
Oh,
I know. I was like 81. Ooh, they're all the same age as me. Me and Beyonce are the same age.
Yeah.
We turned 40 the same year. I don't know why I'm like this, but I am.
We see you. We are the same.
No, I'm on D-listed every day. Like, whose birthday is it today?
Man, it's like you know when you like Google like, oh, whose birthday is August 11th? Because that's my birthday. Chris Hemsworth and Hulk.
So you're a Leo,
and Viola Davis. I'm like, me birthday twin, me and Viola. And it's like, it's like, and Hulk Hogan. I mean, I don't have to.
I'll take Hulk.
Do you know who I share a birthday with?
Who?
I just have to bring it back to her. Mariah Carey.
Oh, I know. Yes. Wait, did you read Mariah Carey's book?
I haven't read it yet. I need to.
I still haven't either.
Everyone.
I know. What's wrong with me?
It's been out less than a year, and it's a classic.
Really? Oh.
She is a survivor.
Deanna and I are Mariah stans.
Excuse me, her cribs will go down in infamy as she literally got in a bathtub on camera. I was like,
cribs? Why are we doing cribs
why is
she? Pandemic cribs make so much sense.
Show.
That would be great because it's like everybody's home. Y'all could bring it back.
Remember when they did the Backstreet Boys, and I would always be like, and they all lived in the house together because they were recording,
right? Yep, and they did it for Destiny's Child too. And Beyonce had this one room with all the pillows on the floor, and you're like, and then she has clouds. I'm like, I kind of want a cloud room and paint the ceiling with clouds and have pillows all on the floor. I'm like, I want that room.
I want that to come back. I want Super Sweet 16 post COVID.
Oh.
Sweet 16s now are probably insane. Because remember Tiana Taylor's?
I remember hers. I liked hers. And she's like, I don't want no car. I want a bike. And I was like, what?
She was signed
and she got one.
It was like she was signed to Pharrell's label.
Yep.
Do I have that right?
Yep. She was with Pharrell. And I think Pharrell is the one who got her the bike. And it was a very expensive, nice bike. But she's like, I don't want no car. I want a bike. And it was like, that's interesting.
And we had Diddy's son.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all I remember.
Right. It was a few people. I gotta look it up because some of them were like, oh my God, this is so great. It was like, man, MTV when it was like had a lot of shows and no music shows, and then it was like
no music shows. It was all like reality.
Yeah, I wish I lived in New York. I'm like, I would go down there and press my face to where TRL was signing. I'm like, that is nuts.
Oh God.
But still was like battling for Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC.
Oh my gosh, that was the best when like the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC was out there and they'd pan down.
Yeah.
And, like
they'd be like
square with just signs. I was just like sometimes I know, and sometimes Carson would be like, you come up, and the people would like
for real, me? And I'm like,
God.
How did you get
What about Mariah Carey and the ice cream? Do we
I was just
this?
like, I do, because I was like, why is she taking off her shirt? I'm like, but it was like post cribs. I'm getting in a bathtub and taking off my clothes and putting a whole towel that gets heavy with water in the bath. And now I'm getting
out the book. That's all I gotta say.
It's like, why is she giving out ice cream? Y'all, I had a nervous breakdown. I'm like,
wait until you read about it in the book.
Oh my God. Now I got great. You know what, Deanna? Now
you got a project.
Now you like now I gotta read the book. So much. Oh my God. So y'all, we have been going, see, this is what's going to happen. See, I just love it. See, I sound like Taria. I love it. I love it. Ooh, y'all, I love it. She's like, I have notes. And I'm like, oh my God. And Taria does have notes.
Get to any of your notes?
No, I feel like we did not.
We're getting there. So y'all talk to Brian, aka my little snack cake. I want to know, have y'all talked to Bali yet? Because I would love to talk to her because she's my friend.
I just DM'd with her. She's gonna do the podcast at some point, but she told us to wait.
Okay.
So
I know what she's waiting for.
Maybe we're just waiting. But
who we did interview, which I want to promote, is we just put up an interview with Raj Vaswani, which
is
Monica's dad.
He seems so nice.
He's like,
you should be. I don't want people to be nasty to you because of me.
No.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He seems amazing. So
he's a sweetheart.
He's such a sweetie. That just went up today. And then our interview with Brian's going to go up next week. And
little snack cake.
He's just a normal guy. He's just like a
charming,
nice, charming guy.
So he and Monica are not engaged. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, he does get into his love life. So that's a little teaser.
Are we allowed to say rumors on here, or do you want to kind of?
Well, I think we should.
No, I don't want to put no rumors out there. I mean, I just love Ben. I love Brian. I think he's like amazing, and I love.
Okay, so I feel like Brian has become one of the hottest men on Bravo.
He really, it's like he came out the gate. I was like, God damn, this boy is fun. Who is
he up against? Like the Vanderpump boys?
Mauricio.
No, fuck them.
Southern Charm.
Summer
House.
Oh, we're going to talk about Giggly Squad because you know what? Ooh. Okay. But yes, Brian is our little snack cake. He came out the gate. It's like, damn, it's like most of the husbands don't come out the gate. It's you and it's Evan Goldschneider and Mauricio is like hands down. And of course, there's Juan Dixon. I'm from Baltimore, so I knew who Juan Dixon was. I was like,
like
the basketball player? Like the basketball player?
So he's really famous?
Yeah. Because it was like he was in Baltimore. It's like they're both from Baltimore. And I was like, I know that name. I'm like, because when they announced it, I was like, why does Juan Dixon sound familiar? That name is like, it just stands out. And I'm like, oh. So when he didn't play that long, but long enough. It's like when you're from, especially from places that don't seem like big for sports, like Baltimore is not. So people who are from here, it's like, oh my God, you go where? It's like, oh, you do what? You're a singer. That's why when Drew Hill was out, I was like, those are folks. That's our folks. They're from Baltimore. It's like they used to sing in the Frederick.
From Baltimore too.
Yeah, because that's what their name was actually named after the park here called Druid Hill Park, but they shortened it. But it's like with the Baltimore accent, it sounds like Drew instead of Druid.
Cisco. I think Cisco's our age.
I think
so.
He's a little older.
He might be a little bit older because I think they're in their 40s now.
Yeah,
I think.
I just actually watched because I am such, our generation. I've been watching Moesha on Netflix, and Drew Hill was just on an episode.
Oh, well, I tell everybody. Everybody was like, "Oh, I can't wait for Moesha to get here." I'm like, "Oh, y'all." It's not going to age well, you guys.
It's so good.
And I was like, guys, you're going to get back to my agenda of Frank Mitchell is the worst.
Oh, he's the worst
ever. And people are like, oh my God, Frank Mitchell. I told y'all fuck Frank Mitchell. Y'all thought I was kidding. I'm like, he is a terrible dad. He called his whole daughter a hoe. Meanwhile, he got a whole side child. I'm like, how the hell you going to call your daughter a hoe and you have a whole other child? Sir,
speaking of the show, I have not gotten to when Ray J.
This is the last season. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert.
Brandy, what does Ray J play on Moesha?
So Ray J plays So Ray J, actually, his character is the side baby, but I think it was supposed to be, yes. So he comes up as like her cousin, and then it comes out that Frank slept with his mama and they weren't telling anybody. What? And I was like, I can't remember what her relation was. I think that was his deceased wife's sister. I can't remember. Oh my god. Because I did not rewatch it. I was just like, I'm not doing it. After a couple of seasons. You're like, when this happened? The last season that didn't feel like a series finale because it's like it just got canceled. So it's like it ended with Little Kim kidnapping Ray J. Kidnapping Miles. What? Because Little Kim is in it, and I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on here. And then it just got canceled, so we don't know what the fuck happened.
What era of Little Kim is this?
This is,
like 90,
like late 90s, early 2000s. I think it was.
That was her heyday.
That's like her on TRL.
So it's pre-facial deconstruction.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm like, she's so pretty. She was so pretty before, but I think this is what happens when too many people tell you that your features are not attractive. It's like, that's why I'm glad that a lot, like Megan Thee Stallion is not listening to anybody. Like, oh, you need to do something with your face. Nope. Y'all did that with Michael. Michael had it from his own daddy. Right. But other people, y'all talked about how wide his nose was and he had to like fix it because that came from Joe as well. And then y'all did the same thing with Little Kim. And then when she did it, it's like, what the fuck she did to her face? Y'all kept talking about her.
I know. I hate it when they like people place the blame on, the people getting plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm. It's like, but it's like constant critique. It's like, what'd you do that for? I'm like, Lark Voorhees did the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her face? What is going on? I haven't watched the reboot yet. I kind of don't want to.
It just got renewed for a second season.
And I was like, everybody's watching this, huh? I'm like, excuse me. I don't know what happened to Zach Morris.
So, do you remember you could come home from school and watch like 8 Saved by the Bells?
I know. The like golden
those
days.
Were the days.
It was. It's like Saturday morning. It's like, oh, and Hey Miss Bliss is like, how is Haley Mills this great as a grown-up?
Oh my god.
It's like she's a grown-up, she was amazing as a kid and amazing as
it was simpler then. You just had to watch whatever was on.
Right. It was like I don't know what it was, but yeah, fluffy Zach Morris. Love him. He's a fluffy badass.
Do you guys think he was attractive back
then? Yeah, I thought he was so
I liked him more. I like Slater more, but now I like him more than I like Slater.
I liked Zach. Like he was.
You liked? I thought he was cute, but it was just like, I kind of liked AC Slater more.
Over time, though.
I think he looks great now.
So this is gonna be really hilarious if anybody knows this. Do you guys remember the Saved by the Bell board game?
Oh
no, but I have a Saved by the Bell.
I wish I had it.
I had one.
No, wait, I want to grab it. Hold on.
I want to say it was the one you had because I got one, and everybody's like, "What do you mean Saved by the Bell had a board game?" I'm like, "Y'all, it had a board game." They're like,
"Was it like the Game of Life except you were in Saved by the Bell?"
I think
so. Oh my god. That
game. I love pop
bring it close up to the camera.
Let me see it again. Oh, yes, I did have this. This is so exciting.
Dustin Diamond, guys, he has cancer.
I saw that. They're like, they went from mysterious illness to, is it stage 4?
This was can we like map this out? Okay, so first, he's reporting to the tabloids. He says, I pain all over.
Okay.
And then
he's telling them to
remember that
instead of the doctor.
He said that. Did he tweet it out?
He's diagnosed with cancer, and then a couple days later he goes, "I have cancer."
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like he's hospitalized for some mysterious illness. I'm like, well, if it was COVID, they would say COVID.
Yeah, they would.
But then it turned into he has cancer. I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on? Why is that mysterious?
I mean, he's like
mysterious.
He's like early 40s.
Yeah, he's not that old.
I think he's 45.
I think
okay.
So. Yeah, because I know he's like in his 40s. Because when he was in that VH1 show,
like, is this like
that weight loss show
situation, or is he gonna be okay?
It's stage 4. I can't remember what kind of cancer it is, and it's like
they don't even know.
I'm like,
he's done some kind of terrible things, though.
Yeah, he's a nasty person.
He
also has done porn.
He has that's why they didn't invite him.
They didn't invite him in because it's like, he's
he was
a liability.
VH1. What was the VH? Was it a weight loss one?
Yeah, that was the one on VH1 and he got into it with Harvey. And it was like, Harvey's like, I will beat your ass. I'm like, this man is an ex-military. Please stop talking to this black man like you crazy.
Yeah.
Because he was like, they're like, calm down, Harvey. He's like, do you know I will come down there? I was like,
that's crazy.
I always thought him and Tom Green were kind of on a similar level. Do you know what I mean?
I did. Can I just say, I never got the Tom Green thing. I
was
really didn't.
Attracted to him.
What?
Indra knows me. She knows I'm so weird.
Well, I mean, I am
with my sexual attraction.
So I'm in the small minority that thinks Adam Driver is like fucking sexy, and people are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I think a lot of people think that.
No,
I think a lot of
like, he is not fine. I'm like, yeah, but he's sexy, and I don't know why. It's like I can't explain it. I don't know what it is.
There's something about him that's attractive that,
and I don't know what it is because I'm like, people are like, well, what's so attractive about him?
But
I'm like,
have you read? He's like so mean.
Yeah, I have actually listened to some interviews with him, and he sounds like he's kind of like a misogynist.
Yeah, he's not a nice person. I read.
Oh,
and
that's hell.
Craft so seriously.
Yeah, he takes himself really seriously.
Is he like a Christian Bale, Dennis Quaid kind of person?
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, because that video of Dennis Quaid, they were just like, oh, I'm like, yeah, he's a piece of shit. He can be really nasty. Look, I'm fucking working. You shut the fuck up. And it's like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? It's like, I don't care if you're Dennis Quaid. I know you're the finer of the Quaids, but I don't give a shit. Yeah. The finest Quaid is Jack Quaid, okay? That is Meg Ryan. So Jack Quaid is on The Boys. I never thought
about the Quaids. Never.
I'm like, it's Dennis Quaid. He's the finest one.
So hot.
So Jack Quaid is on The Boys. That is Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid's son.
Yes. Well, who does
I was like,
I've not seen
he looked, and the thing about now, I'm like, oh, now I see it. He looks like Dennis Quaid.
He looks.
What's
like
going
Dennis
on with
Quaid.
Meg these days?
I think she's like living like her retired life. I don't think she doesn't act anymore.
She was going out with John Cougar Mellencamp. Remember?
Really?
You didn't know that?
Yes, she did. When you said Mellencamp, I just thought about Teddy, and I was like,
Teddy.
Oh,
so, guys, I just listened to Teddy on Nick Vial's Bachelor podcast.
Can you give us the scoop?
She recapped the last episode with him.
No.
How's she doing? Is she eating? I'm like kind of serious.
She did mention Olin.
Wait, what?
I just like all those Beverly Hills women. I want them all to just eat and kind of.
Okay, here's what I'll say about what Teddy said. Teddy's favorite person on this season of The Bachelor is Rachel. And I think that says it all.
Which one's Rachel?
Which one is Rachel?
She's the one who has brown hair, and like all this shit has come out that like she's from Georgia. Like comes from a really racist.
She's the racist, right? That they found out.
She's the racist. Like her group of friends used to bully people in high school on.
Oh, she's the one. The person got on TikTok and was talking about her.
Yes, and the person was like, "Remember when you used to make fun of me for liking black guys?
And now here you are on The Bachelor with a black guy." And she was like, "What the fuck?" I mean,
and she's gonna go far. You can tell she's gonna.
She's definitely gonna go far.
When she started tearing up when he was I was like, "Get out,
girl!"
Of here.
So Nick was like, "I don't buy her bullshit," and Teddy was like, "I love her. I love her."
I'm surprised Teddy doesn't like Victoria. I don't know why anybody likes Victoria. I'm like, I asked the question on Twitter. I'm like, so is Victoria not pretty enough to be that nasty, or is she not pretty because she is that nasty? I mean, I don't know what it is, but I don't.
She's not ugly.
She's not ugly, but she's not.
She looks
I'm just like
first album.
I'm like, you have way too many. I'd be like, you got one more time to talk to me like you crazy. Oh my God, you guys are so fucking fake. I am here to. I'm like, let me guess. You want the villain edit? This is my only. So I have never watched a Bachelor season straight through, but I watched Rachel's Bachelorette season, and then I watched last season. R.I.P. to Claire and Dale, which
breaking news today. Was that today?
I mean,
it was yesterday that it went from
I'm surprised they lasted
apart. I was just like, it went way too fast. It was like, first of all, they're taking time apart. They're on a break. The Dale said, "Oh no, bitch, we broke up.
It's over."
Like, that's quick. And now Claire's not saying anything. I'm like, it's because when he picked you up, he hit you right in the head with the ceiling. I get it, girl. Because I'm like, bitch, have you lost your mind? I can get the CTE. What are you doing?
Do you think he broke up with her, right?
Oh, 100%.
I think he did. And so somebody
100%.
else was like, it was another Bachelor show. She got engaged to somebody and they broke up 2 months ago as well. And I was like,
oh yeah,
well, it's 8 weeks y'all breaking point? Because it's like, y'all don't.
Claire is like, I think she's one of the most obnoxious people that's ever been on the
39. I don't give a fuck, bitch. You don't talk to me this way. And I was like,
that was tough when she.
I'm sorry. I would have punched. I would have threw a drink on him. But it's like, but then they're like, "Are you coming here to apologize?" He's like, "No." And it's like, okay, so you can go. I'm like, why did y'all bring that? Why did you bring him back? Fuck him.
No.
It's like, you're 39. You do.
I think Dale realized. I'm surprised it took him this long to realize that she's crazy.
I think she's crazy. And it's like, it's so weird with the whole Dale thing. And it was interesting. Like she said, I went on social media and I researched all of them. But everybody focused mostly on Dale. I'm like, but it's like 30 guys on that show. She only talked to Dale. I'm like, that don't make no sense. And I'm like,
I don't know if they talked.
Right. Because
I think they did talk, but she came into that being like, when Dale gets out of the van,
she was like, oh, I just met my husband. I'm like, is it because he's just tall? I mean,
he's hot. Hot, right?
I mean, he is. It's like when they said he was a football player, he was a wide receiver, wasn't he?
Claire,
I'm like, yeah.
Claire is just not a very deep person.
She doesn't.
She's shallow, and she sees like, oh, you're good looking. Oh, your mom is all like, you've dealt with people in your family being sick too. That means we're soulmates.
Right. It was like, oh my God, you like beagles? Oh my God, I like beagles. Oh my God, I've never met anybody who likes beagles. I'm like, I'm sorry, but what the fuck is going on here? What is wrong? And I like Tasia, and it was like, I was like, just scrap the whole damn season. Get her a whole batch of new guys. Don't be like, we're going to add 3 more dudes for you. And I was like,
no, but Tasia and Zach, I believe in them more than any
I do too.
couple I've ever seen on The Bachelor.
And I literally forgot all about Jordan and JoJo until they were in a commercial. I was like, oh, this is still a thing?
I can't believe that they are still together. I literally
I was like, I didn't watch it either until they were like, oh, Jordan Rogers, brother of Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, oh shit, you mean the brother that
they don't talk to each other.
I was like, so we're gonna bring this up because with home, like, what's it called, hometowns or homegoings?
Yeah, hometown.
So when I was just like, oh, and then the parents talk, and I'm like,
where's Aaron?
It's like y'all wanted to dance around the whole Aaron thing. He's like, I don't talk to y'all asses. It's because of that girlfriend he had. I'm like, you mean the one that got the Asian?
You mean Olivia Munn?
Yeah. I'm like, wait, so it's her fault that they don't.
Yeah,
they broke up. I'm like, so why are you not talking to him now? They're not.
There's some weird shit going on.
I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know because Aaron don't look attractive no more.
Can we just?
She is very pretty. I was like, oh, she's cute. I'm like, they're still together because I think they were supposed to get married this year, but with COVID, they canceled their wedding.
So they've been engaged for legit like 4 years.
And it's like they seem very well together. I was like, wait, this is still a thing? Y'all still together? Oh,
I know. I thought they were gonna break up within a month. I thought it was all for show.
I was like, oh, y'all are.
They really are together
here. Oh, okay. This is still a thing. Oh, got it. Okay. It's like 100%. That Trisha and the fireman guy. See, I knew the names. I just didn't watch the show. So I'm like, is this supposed to happen?
Okay, but I have to say here, I'm going to say it on our podcast too. Serena P on this season is half Indian. Fuck yeah.
Was she the one that was on the solo date?
Yes.
I was like, can he just go off with her? I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, nope, go on with her. I like y'all together. Because you said, I'm like, is that the one he did the solo
I think she's too good for Matt. I think she's too good.
I don't like Matt.
I was going to say bravo to ABC, how they started out with that date and the goat coming in.
Did you notice she went in the hot tub in her dress?
I didn't notice that. Oh my God. I didn't notice that. Cause I was like, oh,
She's wearing her dress from dinner in the hot tub. I don't know.
They don't have costume changes?
Taking off my clothes. You know what I mean? Because like the podcast I listening to, my Bachelor podcast is like the one I listen to is called Will You Accept the Rose? And they pointed out that the girl that was on the ATV with him,
Brie,
like whatever, she kind of just got into the hot tub and they made her put on her dirty clothes to do the testimonial.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so is it true that the rose ceremony,
like, what's happening?
How would you? It's like, so is it true that the rose ceremonies are hours long?
Yes, they go for hours. The first one goes until dawn the next day. For real, we talked to Kirpa from Colton season, and it's true. They go like for like 12 hours.
Oh, that is ridiculous.
Those women are so tired.
That is so.
So what do you think of Matt? What you don't like, Matt?
I don't see it. I think he's attractive. I just don't. He's boring. Right. Thank you. I'm like, is it me? It's like, he seems so, I don't care. I'm like, I don't want you ending up with any of these black women. I don't even want him to end up with the front runner that we got. I'm like, I think she's cute. I'm like, she's way too good for him. I have a feeling that he's not going to pick
Rachel. He's going to pick Rachel.
Do you think it's going to be between her? Who is your, what's her name? Serena P?
Serena P. I think it's going to be between Rachel, top three. Rachel, Serena P, and Brie.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I have to go pick up my kids.
Please go. But thank you for taking the time.
Okay, Deanna.
Hi, Deanna.
Understanding.
Sure. No. It's
fine. I love this. Can we do it again? I'm going to get off because
absolutely.
Bye.
Deanna's so funny. Sorry, it's not smooth. It's funny.
I feel bad. I feel like we didn't get to like anything.
I was like, oh, Deanna, you're fine. But I totally get it. It's so fun.
I know.
Oh my gosh. But I love talking about Bravo. This is just good to like talk about it. But yeah, so we talked about Bravo. Family Karma season 2.
We're waiting for an announcement.
They haven't made the announcement.
They definitely filmed it, right? Like, there's no denying.
Are they filming now?
No, I think they wrapped. But like, there were things about filming. Like, if you looked at their social media, it was clear that something was going on. So like, Bravo's not going to film a whole season and then not put it on the air, right?
I hope not, unless it's going to just be delayed like they did Dallas. Potomac was delayed.
Yeah, they might delay it. I'm hoping for like a March release.
I hope so. And also us getting a whole reunion.
I wanted a reunion for last season.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, that's it?
Yeah, I know. It was
need Brian on my screen. I'll leave my screen. Okay.
Oh my God. You're going to love the interview. Like, seriously, he's so down to earth and he's just like a normal guy that you could meet anywhere.
And he seems very, very sweet. I'm like, oh, you and Monica should be together. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. They're besties.
They're good. They're better friends. It's no. So we have a lot of reunions coming up, like 3. So it's Southern Charm. Their finale is this week, and then their reunion starts.
Southern Charm is not over though yet.
Their finale, I think today's Wednesday. So yeah, tomorrow, Thursday, the 21st, is the season. Well, by the time y'all hear this, it will be after.
Short season.
Yeah, they shortened their season. I have a feeling it has to do with COVID because OC's reunion, because they shortened their season.
What do you think of the like conversations about race on Southern Charm this season?
I really wish Leva wasn't doing all the heavy lifting and that whole underlying racial shit that's been going on in Southern Charm. It has always been there.
It's always been there. And now they're like, you, person of color. You like,
why is Leva the one? And then they're going to bring, I think Vanita is going to dig in her ass on the finale. And I'm like, see, y'all got us doing the heavy lifting. They showed the Confederate statue being taken down. Totally. But that shit with the reason why this shit is so shitty is because the 3 dudes are literally like, oh, but Catherine's not a terrible person. I'm like, Who said terrible?
She is.
We said she needs to fix shit. I'm like, you don't get to coddle her and then be like, oh my God, leave it alone. It's like, I have a Black son and a Black husband, and I have a Black friend, and also I'm a person of color. Like, no, this shit is not okay. No. And what she did is complete bullshit. And if you think it's just a monkey emoji, I have a farm in Wyoming with a wrapper on it to sell you.
No, like, and just hearing her say over and over again, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist.
That's something racists say.
I'm just like,
girl, it's like, so why would you, it's like, I didn't know anything about monkeys. I'm
okay,
like, your last girl.
Catherine lost like 100 pounds. Like, what happened?
And then you got a Black boyfriend with the last name of Ravenel. I'm like, so I don't want to say to you, Catherine, that probably in like a generation or two removed, Thomas's family probably owned his fucking family. It's like, girl, like that did not occur to you. That did not occur to you at all.
She like the ignorance, and then
oh my God, his last name is Ravenel too. Isn't that crazy? He's Black. Please do the math.
And the whole cast is MAGA. It's like all of them.
Her last name is Calhoun. Like, y'all.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh my God, I didn't know. Oh my God, I didn't know this was in his past. I'm like, she is a rich white woman in the South.
I know. You know what? I heard a really good interview actually in a local news station here. It was it was two Black women talking about living in Boulder, which is where I live, which is very white.
Right.
And they were talking about, someone asked a question, like a listener asked, like, I'm a white person and I really want to learn what to do. Like, how do I do things? And they were like, listen, people of color cannot be doing all of the work for you. Like, you have the resources. You need to become a citizen of the world, and you need to do the work. Like, go and find out for yourself. Like, you cannot just rely on the people of color in your life to educate you. It's so much work for them. Right. And like, Catherine is not, she is not, she doesn't even realize that that's like what she needs to be doing. She's just like, I said, I'm sorry. I'm not a racist. I
don't understand. And then the owner, I think, because she was just like, did you think about what this would do to me? I'm like, yeah. Because I think, I'm like, you don't think about what this means. Because it wasn't just, Catherine, you didn't own your own business, work for somebody else. And now how could you have this person at your store? We can't. She's fired. And then she's like, how could you just abandon me? Ma'am, what did you want us to do?
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I don't, Catherine, I'm like, girl. And it's like, Craig, go to hell. Austin Crawl, go to eternal hell.
Oh my God.
Everybody, it's really weird for me to watch people be like, oh my God, I'm so mad at Madison. How dare she not invite him to his birthday party? He said he was not coming.
Yeah.
He said, oh, I'm not going to come. Then he showed up like, you're not happy to see me? No, bitch, I'm not. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I already put the deposit down for the party and we're not together anymore. I'm like, well, it's his birthday party. I'm sorry, but bitch, did you pay for any of this party? And it's like, girl, go home. It's like, oh my gosh, she wants so much drama. Why the fuck are you here, Austin?
I know.
Girl, go drink that nasty ass craft beer. I'm sorry, I don't know what's next.
Trop pop.
It could be great. I don't know.
It's like, probably delicious. Like, honestly,
it probably is. It's like, if for people who like craft beer, it might be nice. I don't know. But I'm like,
I think like it's kind of surprising that like Shep is emerging as like the only decent
voice of reason. It's like, and it's like, that's the thing. The bar is in hell for this because like, Shep is like, how did we get to Shep being like the decent one on this cast other than Leva and Vanita? I'm like, and also I kind of like Danny. Danny,
Danny, I like her
divest from Catherine Calhoun because you see all your other buddies left this show because they're like, oh yeah, we gotta go. It's like, Danny, just leave. Danny's been there since day one. Cause I was like, Danny, damn, there she is. There Leva is. Damn, Danny has really been here since day one. I'm like, girl, divest and leave. It's like, you don't need to be on this show.
Do you remember in season 1 when Thomas Ravenel was, his first love interest was Danny?
I do remember.
He was like
Thomas Ravenel is a piece of He is a piece of shit. I'm like, he's always been a piece of shit. And his daddy is a racist piece of shit. I hate Abraham Lincoln. Why would they hate Abraham Lincoln? He freed the slaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, duh. Oh, yeah.
Because I think it was Talk of Shame who brought it up. I was like, I remember those episodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, I remember them because I watched them. Like, because I got and I liked Patricia to a certain extent. I liked her up until that Indian dinner. I was like, stop this. Please turn this off. I'm like, I am uncomfortable. What is this? Dude, what is this? I was like, please stop. Turn this off. Abort. The
exoticism oh God, don't get me started on Patricia.
I was just sitting here like, what is going on? So when she was like, oh no, Catherine, that is enough. I'm done with Catherine. I'm like, ma'am, you had an Indian dinner at your house. I know you are not going to sit up. Do not perch yourself up on that.
Oh, no.
Now, Patricia.
Patricia is like one of the whitest people I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, no, that is not how we do it. I'm like, oh, let me guess, Patricia. We only do it at the country club with no cameras on?
Yeah.
Patricia, 100%. You had an Indian dinner at your house. And everybody's like, oh, this is so great. No, it's not.
No,
it's not. And I think Cameron's like, oh, I wore one of Leva's dresses. I'm like, because Leva's your friend. I'm like, girl, no. We also getting.
I have to go in 5 minutes, just letting you know.
Not a problem. So that we can wrap everything up, y'all, we just been talking a lot. I just like to.
We went back to the 90s.
We're all over the place. I just enjoy talking, and I think it's mostly because of the joy that is today.
Yes.
When this clusterfuck of an administration is gone, he went to Florida. Good. I hope you die there.
Yes.
I hope you die in a plane crash. You know what? Put that out on the universe. I'm just going to say.
I just want him to never be in DC ever again.
Ever. It's like, please leave us alone. Please get impeached. Please remove him and say he can't run. He doesn't get Secret Service and he doesn't get his little presidential pension. Take all that shit.
No. Take it all away.
It's virtual. They're still doing coverage of the inauguration. He did a good speech. I liked his speech. I liked the youth poet laureate. That is Amanda. She was amazing. I was like, they said first poet laureate. I'm like, she's not the first, but I don't think I heard him say youth. So I think he said, I probably missed it because she's the first youth poet.
Youth poet laureate.
Because when they said first poet laureate, I'm like, Angelou was a poet laureate. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. She's like 23.
Yeah, it was just like, wait a minute.
I mean, her, she was so poised and
I was just like,
her poem was
it's so good.
Amazing. And just like, she's brilliant. She's brilliant.
Yes.
And you and me, you're a Black woman. I'm an Indian woman.
This is our day. This is our holiday. It's like,
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Kamala Harris is bringing us
together. I was like, I'm like, it's our day. It's our time. I'm like, fuck those insurrectionists. I'm like, this is our day. There's nothing you can do about this day. She wore purple. I loved it. Jill Biden looked amazing in blue. I'm like, and Michelle Obama, I'm like, God, this hair and this wine-colored outfit. I'm like, God, I don't care if they had masks on. Incredible. No, it was a beautiful day.
And Gaga looked beautiful in her little skirt or her big
and J-Lo was there.
J-Lo.
That's it. Fluffy Garth Brooks was there. AKA, you know what? That is the show title.
We love J-Lo. Just maybe she should be like at the evening party tonight.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
At the inauguration, we're not going to have no parties, I guess. We're not having no, oh wait, Katy Perry is going to perform soon. I don't know. But yeah.
Do you know I love Katy Perry?
I do like Katy Perry.
I love her. Oh my God.
So,
yeah.
He's like, Taylor or Katy? I'm like,
Katy for sure. Oh,
I like kind of like Taylor now, but I don't know. I liked her better after her documentary on Netflix. It was like, okay, I'm gonna thaw my Taylor Swift is a snake thing.
I'm gonna just stay silent on Taylor because people might come for me if I.
It's like I thought her documentary was really good. It was like, okay, I'm like she's a person, she's adorable, she loves cats and puppies, and she's really nice to her fans. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. But before you get out of here, guys, it's a holiday. Kamala Harris is our Madam Vice President. Kamala Harris, not Kamala.
It's Kamala Harris.
Sonia, you had one job, Sonia. It was like, girl, it's not like she new to DC. She was in the Senate. Like, what the hell?
As someone who has an Indian name, it's just another day,
right?
Someone messing up your name.
Because I thought it was Kamala until someone said, no, it's Kamala. Like, oh, my mother's name is Pamela. So I was like, oh, kind of like my mother's name.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah,
it's one of the easier Indian names to pronounce.
Really?
I think so.
Okay. It's like, because I was like, oh, I love it.
This is a celebration.
It absolutely is. It's like, I really love it. And I have to go back and listen to Deanna. It's so funny. I love her. I'm like, I love her. I have to have y'all back. This is so great.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we'll have to have you on our podcast, too.
Absolutely. Because I'm like, I got to talk about how I lust after Brian. He's too young for me. I'm kidding. No, he's not. He is legal, y'all. Okay? It's legal.
He's 29.
See, so yeah, I'm like, why do he just looks great. He has a great skin routine.
Oh,
it's like, because his skin is, but everybody on that
we
show
talked about his skin in the interview, actually.
Yeah, his skin is like, I love it. I'm like, you have a great skin routine.
I know.
Can you talk to your buddy? Because he don't look like he. You know what? Let me leave him alone.
Okay.
Let me leave him alone. Lopa auntie, I just want her to like me. I'm like, I don't like you. Okay? It's like, I don't like you. So she not going to like you, okay?
Oh my gosh.
No. But before you go, once again, thank you so much for being here. Please, if you guys have not started listening to Family Karma Kast with a K, please start listening. Start at the beginning with Family Karma recaps and continue on. I still need to do the Indian matchmaking show. I haven't watched it yet. Y'all have reviewed it. Y'all talked to people. I'm like, I need to get on this. I finished Bling Empire and House of Ho.
Okay.
And Judy is my favorite hoe. And Anna, I need her on Beverly Hills. I'm like, no, she's an actual wealthy person. Y'all are rich. She is fucking wealthy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here, I'm going to just give you this. He's like, wait, you're just going to buy it for me? Yeah. It's like, what, $10? This is $10,000. So $10? I want to be Anna Shay's friend. I'm like, she's like, so $10? I'm like,
oh my God.
He's like, oh my God. I'm like, and Sarah's like, Kevin is so poor. He's worth $10 million, but he's rich and they're wealthy. These are wealthy people. And I want to be Cherie's friend because I'd be like, girl, don't you dare. You are birthing 2 of his children and asking him to marry you. I would fight you. It's like, why didn't no one tell her this was a bad idea? Why? You had 2 children. And he's still like, whoo, got to get these numbers together.
And with that,
it's like, like, Cherie, I will be your friend. Girl, don't you dare. Don't you dare. You had 2 of his children.
Yeah. And
you birthed a whole baby. I saw you give birth. I'm like, no, you not. Yeah. Please. See, I want to be Cherie's friend and tell her, no, we don't do this. Okay, we don't do this. But please tell everybody where they can find Family Karma Kast and follow the show and you and Deanna.
So we are on Instagram and Twitter, Family Karma Kast with a K. And I run the Instagram and Deanna runs the Twitter, but you can get us either. And then, if you search for Family Karma Kast and all the podcast platforms will come up. And we recapped all of season 1. We've been having interviews with South Asians in pop culture in general. So there's a lot of great content there. And we're just like, we have updates every week on like what's happening with Family Karma as soon as we know.
Literally, it's like I follow y'all. I'm like, if they haven't said anything yet, it's not out there. It's like when I say, season 2, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, we got our finger on the pulse. Like, so definitely follow us. And thanks for listening. And thanks so much for having us on your podcast.
I'm like, thank you so much for taking the time. And if y'all talk to Bally before I do, please tell her that I'm her. She's my best friend.
We will tell her.
I'm like, she is my friend. She's like, yes, I am. I'm your best friend. I'm like, see, don't make me find it. I will
100%.
Guys, right. Oh my gosh, this has been the Mocha Minutes podcast. Guys, I will be back next week, hopefully with Old Man Wade, so we can talk about Batman.
Ooh.
Yeah, I made a list of Batman, like who's the best Batman. I started with number one for me was Kevin Conroy. And if anybody knows, that is the voice of the Batman for Batman the Animated Series. But then
I was like, because wasn't Kevin Costner also a Batman?
I don't
No. Val Kilmer.
So Val Kilmer is on the list. I didn't put Ben Affleck, and people are like, "How did you not put Ben Affleck on the list?" I'm like, because I honestly forgot about him. And also, if I did, I probably would put him way down. George Clooney is at the bottom, Christian Bale is like I put him on there. Will Friedle is the voice of Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond. He is on the list. So everything other than one, people were like had an issue with, but nobody said Kevin Conroy isn't the number one Batman. Because he is.
What can you tell me about? I actually really love the Batman franchise. Oh my God. But I do too. What's next? Do they have a movie plan?
So it looks like
Robert Pattinson, right?
Yes. Oh. So they were shooting and then they had to shut it down because Robert Pattinson got COVID.
Got it.
So I think they maybe finished. I think there may have been like, and I'm a check with Old Man Wade because I think there was like a teaser out, but maybe not. I think it may just at the most maybe photos, but they had to shut down production because Robert Pattinson got COVID.
Okay.
So this was like back in the summer. So we're still working on that. That's why, Robert Pattinson, the sparkly vampire, is not on it. I'm like, I ain't seen him yet. So I'm not putting him on the list. Because I put Michael Keaton right at the top. I'm like, how are y'all like, oh no, Christian Bale's better than Michael Keaton. So first of all, fuck you. No, he is not. There's no fucking way that Michael Keaton is not at the top. And they also are talking about he might reprise his role as Batman.
Whoa.
Because they're talking about like older. They're doing like an older one. So apparently on HBO Max, they're like green lighting that it might be a sequel series after Batman the Animated Series and before Batman Beyond, I think.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm here for this. So Old Man Wayne and I are going to discuss Batman. Because I was like, we're going to discuss my list. And he's like, I think it's a solid list. But it's like every so often, like maybe the 4 or 5 or 6, they're like, oh, we're going to redo this. But no one is saying Kevin Conroy isn't the number one Batman. It's like no one said that to me.
Yeah.
But that's because
you clearly know. You know.
Yeah,
so
I'm such a geek about this.
I'm coming I don't know. To you with all my Batman questions from now on.
I'm like, I tell everybody, I'm like, Batman's not necessarily a superhero because he ain't got
no, but that's why I love
him. He's super rich. I'm like, he just got money like Iron Man. I was like,
I know, but he also like his story, like the story is so good. I love it.
I like how the Joker villain, like, there's literally 17 billion different stories about how we got a Joker. And
I know the movie, the Joker movie was really good.
See, I still haven't watched it because I'm like,
it's scary. It's kind of creepy.
Is it?
It's a little. It's like don't watch it at home alone in the dark.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched it yet because I'm like, how are you doing a Joker movie without Batman? I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, it's an origin story.
Okay.
So it's like, and it's interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the Heath Ledger whole situation he's clearly the best.
Yeah, it's like we could talk about the different Jokers too, because the guy who plays Luke Skywalker, he was the voice of the animated Joker.
Oh, really?
So what's his name? Mark
Hamill?
Yes, he was the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that crazy? Batman the animated
was the Joker.
Jim Carrey.
Which is like a one way to look at it. Then there's the Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, like.
So it's Jack Nicholson in the first one. Mark Hamill is the animated one. Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
Oh, he was the Riddler. He wasn't the Joker. Mm-hmm. The Riddler I always was interested in.
Like that. It's kind of like when they had like Christian Bale's Batman, they tried to do Two-Face and I was like,
yeah,
they had the best makeup. Because for me, when I saw, and he's so beautiful, I think it's Aaron Eckhart. He was playing Harvey Dent. I think his makeup was the actual best because it reminded me of Batman the Animated Series. I'm sorry, that's the gold standard when it comes to Batman, so I compared it. But Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, I was like, girl, that's stupid.
But but here's my question: is like, did they make up that origin story with Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face?
So,
because that was brilliant, I thought
it was. The one I gotta look at the one in Batman. I like the one in animated where he had like 2 different personalities, and that just shows the different personalities. And I think they kind of did it with Aaron Eckhart's too. Tommy Lee Jones on the way. It's like someone threw acid in his face. It's like, and he crazy. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden.
It's like, and now he got 2 different personalities. He's flipping a coin. I'm like, see, no, y'all rushed this.
Yeah,
like, Jim Carrey's Riddler definitely I don't know. It's kind of like, it's so weird because I'm like, your Riddler is kind of good, but the Two-Face was like, this is trash. And it's like, so George Clooney is a bad Batman and Tommy Lee Jones was a bad villain.
Okay, can you hear my dogs howling?
Wait, why are they howling? Do they agree? They agree with me. He's a terrible. See, this is why this. I put George Clooney.
Okay, I have to go calm them down.
Please do, guys. This has been a Mocha Minutes podcast. I will be back next week. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division.